opposite approach, saying, "Hey, these guys are for real." I think Stanford may have moved up to number 4 with that win.
Well, they're going to face a revamped Aggie lineup here in game number 2. A lot of the regulars are out. Aaron Thorpe trying to shake things up. Nakahara starts in left field, but then Olivia McFarland in center. Maddie Grissom is in right. Pahulu at third, McMahon at short, Felice at second, and Panziera starting for Starks at first base. And Anna Dethlefsen will be getting a start behind the plate. Dethlefsen has not played as much at catcher this year. It's been mainly Grace Kilday. That's a position that she's been in a lot throughout the first 3 seasons of her career. But Dethlefsen this season has been mainly an outfielder. Today, she is back behind the plate here for game 2. And the starting 9 for the Cardinal, very similar to what we saw in game number 1. And it starts with the reigning Big Ten Player of the Year, Taryn Kern. So Kern will bat. Aggies, for the most part, handled the Stanford lineup decently well in game 1. Not a lot of hard hit balls, only 5 singles allowed, and all of which were on the ground.
Yeah, none of them looked like they were going out or were going for extra bases.
So Caroline Grimes will get the start here in game 2.
Hadn't been for all those walks early, would have even been closer.
Sophomore from Rockland will deal to Kern, who's from San Jose. And there's an off-speed pitch in for a strike. So the Aggies use Reineman for the majority of game 1 after Kennedy Brown only lasted 2/3 of an inning and then was removed after some of the control issues. We'll see if we see Brown here in the second game of the doubleheader. And we still haven't seen the freshman Ashley Sawai. The Aggies going to their 3rd and 4th pitchers on the staff in Reineman and Grimes. Reineman threw the ball really well, and she was the reason why the Aggies even had a chance in the 7th. And now Grimes will throw, and it's Grimes and Sawai are the 2 pitchers that Aaron Thorpe projects to be the 2 starters next year as Kern sends one into the gap. And this should be extra bases. Grissom plays the carom. Stanford did not have an extra base hit in game 1 and 1 batter into game 2. They've already remedied that.
Did we jinx that? I think we did.
Taryn Kern with the double.
They've all got earpieces. They're all listening to the broadcast.
Yeah, I know that's a staple of
and I'll show those
softball players. They always have this in their ears, and that's the best struck ball of the day by far for the Cardinal. That's been in fair territory. And here's Emily Jones. Grimes, a 4.23 ERA. It's her 7th start, her 16th appearance, 10 strikeouts and 11 walks. Like Reineman, she pitches for mishits. 43 innings pitched on the year. Jones pops it up into shallow right. It's a long run for Maddie Grissom. She finally gets there, though.
And a reminder, Stanford scored 2 in the first, and an error kept that inning alive, or they wouldn't have scored at all. That was half their runs for the game.
That was the lone blemish for the Aggies defensively.
Yep.
And for Gia Felice.
It led to 2 runs.
That error obviously elongated the inning, but Felice's defense for the rest of the game also prevented more runs from scoring.
Exactly. She really recovered nicely from that. She had some great plays.
Here's Ava Gall. Stanford mentioned the departure of one of their top pitchers from a year ago, Vautzer. That's lined up the middle on the ground. Not sure if Grimes got a glove on that to slow it down, and Felice makes the play.
Yeah, that looked like it might be heading for center, but I think it was slowed down.
I think you're right. It knocked her glove off. Yes, it did.
Oh, yep.
And it could be 1-0 Stanford had it not been for that.
Right.
Here's Kaneshiro. But despite a lot of the pitching talent coming back from last year, they have a lot of young and new position players.
Very definitely. Wait another year on this team. Wow.
This is not one of the young players, Kaneshiro, the senior. Been a big part of the Stanford program. All Pac-12 catcher. So Kern at third, and a 1-1 count. Aggies were playing an uphill battle the entire game in the first game of the doubleheader. You just want to see them get in the dugout and not be trailing in the game. That's the goal right now.
Yeah,
they take at bats on a level terms.
They never experienced that in the first game, being even.
Little bloop. It's Caroline Grimes who makes the play, and that will retire the side. So terrific work by Grimes to work around the leadoff double. Stanford doesn't score. Aggies coming to make your 7th start of the year. Here's the defensive alignment starting behind Houston. Mostly the same as game 1. A few changes. Caitlin Lim is now the right fielder. And actually, that's the only change for Stanford in the fielding alignment as Anna Dethlefsen starts it off against Houston. Aggies' batting order is very different than what they usually throw out there. We'll get to that in just a second. There's a strike on the inside corner, and the count is 2-1. Houston, 1.88 ERA. Here's the lineup for the Aggies. See there, Poley, McFarland, all new players as Dethlefsen sends one high and foul. Some of the regulars getting at least the first part of this game off. Panziera is in there. She came in defensively in game 1. That's rip foul. It's just tough to crack time in the circle for the Stanford team. So Houston has only thrown 37 and a third innings this year, and she's only allowed 10 earned runs in those.
Yeah, at what point does it become a negative in recruiting to have that deep of a roster on the mound or in the circle?
Dethlefsen, little flare into right center, and Lim puts it away.
You know, our friends across the causeway had a softball doubleheader on a Wednesday against Stanford and actually came away with a win. Won the first game 3-2 and lost the second game 6-0 about a month ago. A little over.
One of Stanford's 7 losses this year. Here's Houston's full line for the season. She is a decorated high school pitcher from Benton, Arkansas. 3-time state champion and 2-time Gatorade State High School Player of the Year.
Not bad credentials. Got quite the windup, too.
Kraus finished game 1. She threw 116 pitches, 81 strikes. She was masterful. Gia Felice takes ball 1. Felice starting her 2nd straight game. She is 9 for 46 on the season. Player that usually is used as a pinch runner, that has gotten her a start here or there during the year as she strikes out. And the batter is Maddie Grissom.
What a difference growing up in Benton, Arkansas, and going to school in Palo Alto.
You don't think there's a lot of commonalities?
Not many.
She had a game in high school where she struck out 19 batters.
In 7 innings? Wow. Yeah, you see some of these freshmen come up and you go, wow, what were they like last year in high school? Untouchable.
That was the 5th most in a single game in school history. Only 5th. Here's a strike called to Maddie Grissom. Grissom had the best at-bats for the Aggies in game 1. Had only one hit to show for it. Was robbed of a hit by a diving catch by Kira Chan. and then walked in her 3 appearances at the plate. 2-1 to Grissom. And that is juggled in the circle and not in time. And the Aggies have a base runner with 2 outs. That had some weird spin.
Very close call here at first.
You see, she just hit it funny, and there's just some wild spin on this ball back to the circle.
It bounced way away from Houston, too.
So it'll be rolled a base hit because of
Let's see.
all that English.
Real close.
Sarah Nakahara stands in for
Now batting left fielder, Sarah Nakahara.
Stanford doesn't play many of these where they go on the road against the mid-major. They played against San Jose State earlier this season. They'll have a trip to St. Mary's a little later on. 3-0 to Nakahara.
You know, Notre Dame always had that theory in football. They would go on the road a lot because they thought it was good for recruiting. Go to different parts of the country and bring their marching band and do everything else.
But you just see it less and less in college sports now, where the top programs visit mid-major schools.
Yep, very rare.
But Stanford and UC Davis have a pretty tight relationship across all sports.
Yep, they really do.
Little fly ball. This will stay on the infield. And caught. Wasn't easy for Jade Berry. She stays with it. I don't think so. Nakahara can't get it.
You know, I really think she would two big motivators if she had stayed another year at Iowa.
Because she was eligible.
If she was eligible, and if she's such a phenomenon at Iowa, she will be she'll be a star in the WNBA, but it will take her a while, and she won't be the phenomenon that she is in college basketball, with what millions of dollars already flowing her way.
Flip to left, Nakahara started in, but is able to flag it down. But that's part of the story, right, Bob? Is that for Caitlin Clark, you want to move on to the WNBA and grow the WNBA game as well, and bring notoriety there and more popularity to the professional level where you get the best of the best.
She did everything short of a national championship that you could do.
Here is Jade Berry against Grimes. Kevin tried to make a play, our third base cameraman, and that's a tough one with one hand.
That's a base hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember last year, Kevin got, it hurts his shoulder a little bit, yeah. But last year he got hit in the hand trying to go after one. That one, at least, I think he's okay.
He got some workman comp out of that, I think.
I like that he showed the ball to the camera as if we were going to give him credit for picking it up. Here's Jade Berry, 1-1 the count. Ball finds Kevin. You know, Bob?
I think Kevin was out in McCovey Cove as a little baby when Barry Bonds popped that one out there.
Okay, take a look how Kevin did, our third base cameraman. Knows he's got a chance.
Oh,
and just out of his reach.
A little half-hearted.
Now he's going to act like he's somebody's trying to fool the umpire.
Maybe he'll autograph it for us.
He's going to have a collection pretty soon of softballs.
Yeah. Was he up on the other side last week? And
it was last year. Yeah, he was on the first base camera. Last week was Hunter.
Oh, Hunter was up there.
Yeah,
That's
Hunter
right.
got a ball last week too.
Yeah, it actually landed in the cage.
Barry pulls it into deep right. Grissom back, and goodbye.
Entire Stanford roster coming out onto the field.
Fourth home run for the freshman, and it's 1-0 Cardinal.
Leaving a little doubt.
Part of this young, retooled Stanford order. The freshman from Queen Creek, Arizona, with a solo blast to put the Cardinal on the board.
That's not the first player we've seen this year from Queen Creek, Arizona.
In this sport, are you talking about?
Yeah. Earlier this year, there was somebody, might have been Northridge.
Mailer pops it up. McMahon giving chase, and she
what a
flags
great
it
play.
down.
Now we'll get that trademark smile from Olivia McMahon.
Yeah, she is a ray of sunshine over at shortstop for the Aggies. Started every game this year. Only player that started every single game. Another one of the senior core. The batter is Caitlin Chan. Barry's brother, Jacob Barry, was the 6th overall pick in the draft a couple years ago by the Marlins. Former Golden Spikes finalist at LSU.
Wow.
And his sister is looking like another gem in the diamond sports. And did that hit her? Yes.
I wonder, it looked like it was moving right at her, and they didn't see her flinch. But let's see.
Got some of the jersey. She's pointing to it, Lim. See it hit the Nike swoosh. Here is Carmouche, who's starting for the second straight game, and the second straight time after she didn't start at all for 2 seasons. She's the DP here in game 2. And there's an off-speed pitch low.
When I was the DP, they called it designated putout.
Is that the same position as left out?
Sort of, yeah. Except you get to play when you're the DP.
I see. There's a rocket to left, but right to Nakahara. And the inning is over. A home run by Jade Barry in game 1. Maggie, 5th place hitter. Aaron Thorpe, we asked her about Bella Pahulu's season. She's got that on base average up to 430. She was talking about how she just continues to take great at bats and really likes to use the walk as a weapon. And we see it time and time again. She is the one that works deep into counts, deepest out of any Aggie batter. Unfortunately, when she's facing Reagan Krause, that's a called strike. You can't really afford to be patient against her because she was just pouring in strikes.
Nothing but strikes. What was that number you had?
116 pitches, 81 strikes.
Wow.
And she lays off the rise ball, 3-2. Maggie's trying to get the leadoff player aboard here in the second. There's a line drive base hit into center field. And a solid single for Bella Pahulu.
See if the Aggies can actually get even or get the lead here.
Yeah, sitting on a pitch out over the plate in the 3-2 count. And here is Panziera. Aaron Thorpe's making a change, and we'll have a pinch runner at first. Maddie Taylor will run for Pahulu. By the way, Nigel Kennedy is warming up in the Stanford bullpen. So we'll see if that means she is going to throw at some point here in game 2. One and 0. Houston has walked 17 and 37 1/3 coming into this game, so she's not immune to the base on balls. That's a strike inside corner. Zach Snell is our home plate umpire. There's Kennedy. Pulled high in the air to left, got underneath it, and Chan is there. Had a good swing on it, but out in front and got underneath it. But she stayed on it. Here's Sydney Poley. th start of the year for Poley. She is 5 out of 27. And another first pitch ball from Houston. Poley had a hit in that 7th inning rally for the Aggies in game 1. Did not start the game though. And here she pulls it into deep left. Chan is back at the track. She's able to flag it down.
Well, Poley got all of that one.
Okay, the Aggies have, starting with that Panziera ball, she hit it foul. Poley hit it deeper and in fair territory. So by that sequencing, Bob.
Here we go. It's time to put one out.
It's Olivia McFarland. Aggie bats definitely look better, though, here in game 2 against Houston. I mean, there was a while there that Krause in game 1, she was just overwhelming Aggie hitters. That's a strike on the outside corner. And now McFarland has to battle. She's 1 for 7 on the season. Might have been a pitch out there. Taylor not going anywhere. This is McFarland's 4th start. She's the designated player. And she lays off the rise ball. Thorpe getting a long look here in game 2 of her younger players, less experienced.
But an opportunity for them, though.
And against a national power in the Cardinal, the freshman out of Cameron Park, McFarland. Popped him up. Out of play. See Jessica Allister crouching there in the background.
Just sitting there by the drain.
The ball you're talking about, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, somebody could get a souvenir.
That's another bullet into center, but it's caught by Jones. The Aggies hit the ball hard in that inning, but go down without scoring. Over to 2, and now Grimes will deliver to Taryn Kern. .23 home runs last year for Kern, 6 this season, and she looks at strike 1. Greg Wong, Bob Dunning with you here at LaRue on a gorgeous, spectacular April afternoon. Strike 2. And you made the point earlier, Bob, and when we were off the air, and hopefully this isn't a case of being careful what you wish for, but these couple games as Kern puts a charge into it to left center, but it's tracked down by Sydney Poley right at the warning track. That these 2 games against the number 5 team in the country, they have a pretty similar feel to a lot of Aggie games this year.
They really do. You'd think this was a conference game, 4-2 loss, but close. This one 1-0 into the third.
Yeah, well pitched, and a lot
Very
of it
well.
just comes down to how much the Aggie bats can add to it.
Very well pitched games.
That's been the case for the Aggies this year. They've pitched consistently well throughout the course of the season, but the bats just have not been able to get a really consistent string together.
They pitched well enough to be probably 12-9 in conference instead of 6-9.
The batter is Emily Jones, and she hits a little bloop with the infield playing in, and she's able to slap it into center field. So Jones is on. And speed on the base pass for the Cardinal, and the batter is Ava Gall.
Think Jones is going to go?
She has 13 steals this year. It is Detlefson, not Kilday, behind the plate. Detlefson still has a strong arm. She takes off and then stops. And there's a strike to Gall. When we were talking to Aaron Thorpe about the offense, she was saying that every individual player has had their own good series, good weekend.
Up and down.
But the problem is it's just not happening at the same time.
Yep. They haven't had 6 out of 9 have their best game. And that's what it takes.
Gall grounded out her first time. Freshman from El Capitan. And you're right, Bob, with players the likes of Gall and Jade Bear, you hit the home run earlier, and some of the other freshmen and sophomore on this team's going to be good for a long time. At least set up to be. Rise ball misses 1 and 2.
Not quite so much portal movement in softball. Maybe at the upper levels a little bit more.
Well, last year's team, Bob, they did not have one player that was a transfer for that team that made it to the College World Series.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Pulled on the ground to first and stabbed by Panzier, and there are 2 outs. Jones to second.
At this level, you'll have some players who are really good, and they just happen to be playing something behind somebody who's a little bit better, and they go, gee, if I transfer to X school, I could probably be a starter.
And this year, they still have mostly homegrown talent, except, of course, for Taryn Kern, the Indiana transfer. And she was a major find. Actually, she wasn't that hard to find with what she did last year. It was a major get. Hit 23 home runs in a Power 5 conference. That tends to make a lot of noise.
It does.
Here's Kaneshiro.
Does Benton, Arkansas count as homegrown? Pretty close to Palo Alto.
Yeah, that's what you were just saying that earlier, too.
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah. That falls into the stands.
Man. I got it.
Bob was about to make a play on it.
Look at that. Caught it with my foot. I stopped its momentum. I risked my life, really.
I'm glad you're okay, Bob. That was another one that almost hit Kevin. Look out. He just put his hand to his heart. That made him his heart skip a beat, I think. Poor guy. That's off the end of the bat and foul into the Aggie bullpen. Yeah, you got to be on red alert today. I mean, Grimes doesn't strike out many players. She pitches to contact, so there are going to be foul balls to be had.
How many balls do they start a softball game on?
I think they only use one during the game, if that was what you were asking.
Yeah, let's throw that one back in. It's got my footprint on it.
Kaneshiro from Santa Clarita. There's actually, use the term homegrown to mean that they all stayed at Stanford for their entire careers, but they have a lot of players from different parts of California and the country.
Right.
It's not just the Bay Area. Reach for a little flare down the right field line. That's just fair. And Jones will score, and it's 2-0 Cardinal.
Could not have placed that ball any better to get the run in.
Kaneshiro just kept fouling off pitches and finally put one in play. This was fair by inches. And she ends up at second with an RBI double. I mean, this is a Stanford team. It seems like everybody up and down the order, they work a good at bat. Very few first pitch or early at bat outs. And that's just typical of what they do. And we were talking to Aaron Thorpe about the Aggies prior to that winning streak they had against CSUN, where they swept them. Prior to that, they'd lost 11 of their last 14 games.
Yep.
And Aaron Thorpe said, I mean, she admitted that they didn't play very well, but also it just felt like nothing was going their way, that none of the breaks were
just the little things
happening for them. And she's hoping that it's time for them to turn it around. Amy Kleiss there, her pitching coach, and Jake Lively looking on. Off speed just misses. 1-2 to Kira Chan. Line drive left center. Nakahara is there. And that will retire the side. But Stanford adds on one more on 2 hits. Kaneshiro with the double. It's 2-0 Stanford. Warm to hot?
Yes, it has. Definitely. Plus, I'm sitting
in the sun.
I'm sitting in the sun today, too.
Yeah. Yeah, for you, you're getting a nice tan on half of your body.
On half my body. Get the truck driver can. Yeah.
So you can wear that tank top that you were sporting last week.
That's right. They were passing them out here for free. I got some calls. They put it on camera, and I got some modeling calls out of that.
Little squibber back to Houston.
Do they call it NIL if you're a broadcaster? Or do you have to be an athlete?
I think you have to be an athlete, Bob, although you were an athlete here.
Yeah, so there.
That's another one that had some weird spin to it. McMahon retired. Houston this time they would have fielded no problem. And here is Deathlifson. Deathlifson struck out for just the second time all season in game 1. Here she hits a pop-up foul.
You heard about it from her parents.
I did.
They knew you jinxed her.
They asked me on the way up if I was the one that jinxed her. I said, yes,
Yeah.
I was.
And then they stopped me and we talked to them. Fun people. They were having fun with it.
You can see them in this shot. They're under the umbrella there right at the top of your screen.
There they are.
Anna's parents. They're locked in right now, as you would expect for her at-bats.
They know that's the route we take up to the press box.
Yes. They come to every game. Deathlifson's from Fair Oaks. That's hammered. High and deep to left. Forget it. The Aggie superstar gets them on the board, and it's 2-1.
She doesn't get to steal a base.
I think she'll take that over a steal any day of the week.
She just stole 4 bases.
Second of the season for Deathlifson. And she smashed this. Aggies only hit one home run against CSUN. It was Pahulu. And now Deathlifson. Aggies are squaring up some of these pitches from Houston. Two and 0, and Houston has had trouble getting ahead in the count. 13th career home run for Deathlifson. And her 4 illustrious seasons in an Aggie uniform.
We're going to miss her.
Flip to left. Chan had her played perfectly. And here's Maddie Grissom. Again, Stanford's one of the top defensive teams in the country.
Picked up their 35th win in the opener, 35-7 now. Aggies came into the second game 15-22.
And Aaron Thorpe was telling us, ever the optimist Aaron Thorpe, that most years I've been here, we've had a slow start to conference play, and then we turn it on in the second half and pile up the wins. Or actually, I'm sorry, that they get off to good starts in conference play and then trail off at the end. This year, we're hoping for a slow start to conference, and now we're going to go on a winning streak to close it out.
Oxtail sauce, the perfect southern fried shrimp meal. Woo, saucy! Zaxby's.
Jade Berry with the home run in her first at bat stands in against Caroline Grimes to start the fourth. Man, you just continue to be impressed by the way the Aggies have.
They just have not been blown out by anybody. They just have not been blown out by anybody.
In fact, I think they've been run ruled at all this year. Bob's trying to do the calculations in his head.
I don't think so.
I guess I could just look at the schedule.
Yeah, maybe on the road, maybe one that we did.
They have not been.
That's quite an accomplishment, given that a run rule is just 8.
They have run ruled opponents, but.
Yeah. So do Jeff and Laura Deathlifson, do they get a prize when your daughter hits a home run?
Yeah, I think you have to give them an autographed Bob Dunning picture. Go down right now. They'll love that.
How about an autographed Bob Dunning tank top?
Now that's if she hits 2.
I already put mine on eBay, so.
Get off speed. 3-2.
Does eBay stand for East Bay?
That's a really good question, Bob. I don't know if I can answer it for you. Got her looking. And Grimes with the strikeout, a rare strikeout, just her 11th of the season. And she gets Berry. So Berry has the home run. Grimes now has a strikeout against her. Another look. Right across the knees. Here is River Mailer.
Pretty decent shortstop.
Yeah, All Pac-12 a year ago. Preseason All Pac-12 this season out of Monroe, Washington. the highest rated recruits in the nation coming out of high school, Monroe High. Her mom was a shortstop at the University of Washington. And she lifts it in a shallow left. Nakahara got a late break, and she overran the ball, and Mailer's going to end up at second. I think that'll be ruled a hit and an error because she was going to stop at first. And then Nakahara with the overplay.
I bet there's some people in Monroe, Washington watching.
I'm sure there are. This is bunted out in front of the plate. Detlefson's going to have to hurry, and she doesn't have a play. And Lim is aboard on a bunt single. Yeah, perfectly executed drag bunt. And here comes Jake Lively to the circle.
Walking with some authority down to the circle.
So Mailer's at third, and Lim is at first. Jake Lively holding court in the Aggie circle right now. What do you think is on that clipboard that he has, Bob?
All kinds of analytics, like the size of the burger at Bull and Mouth versus the size of the burger at Burgers and Brew.
Right.
Yeah.
That's an important distinction.
What kind of condiments there are.
Bob, you started the whole burger analytics trend here at Davis, right?
I did.
It always comes back to food. So here is Carmouche, the DP. And taking second on the play is Lim. So stolen base puts runners at second and third. The Aggies are going to play the infield in. It's a tough spot. Again, Grimes does pitch to contact. This normally is a strikeout situation. And that one just missed. Two balls and one strike. Carmouche is 3 for 6 for the season. And Taryn Kern looming on deck, 3-1. Grimes trying to keep it at a one-run game. But this Cardinal order does not make it easy at all. And there's a walk. Grimes thought she was getting squeezed. And now Taryn Kern is looking to do some major damage. A big moment in this game. Obviously, with the way Stanford pitches, you just don't want to fall behind by too much.
Yeah, a lot of red and white on those base paths.
Mailer, Lim, and Carmouche are your base runners. And there's a strike. It's 1-1. Kern did not have a hit in the first game. Did take a walk. Also got to be careful that you don't hit her. She's been hit by a pitch 15 times this season, which is top 10 in the country. There's a line drive, solid single to left, and Nakahara bobbled it again. And 2 runs are in to make it 4-1.
I think the second run was going to score anyway. They were waving her in.
I was looking at Jessica Allister. I thought she had a stop sign up.
Let's see again.
But no, you're right. She might have been running through over at third. I don't think she ever got to the point where she had to make a decision because Nakahara had already juggled the ball.
But
they had to freeze. It was a line drive.
If she was throwing up the stop sign, it got ignored.
So Kern with the 2-run single. All right, let's see if we can tell. I think they would have held her up. Nakahara was going to get to that ball pretty quickly. In any case, 2 runs are in for Stanford, and it's 4-1 Cardinal. Also have a pinch runner for Stanford. I think Kylie Buckley has come in. She's pinch running at second base. In for Carmouche. So Lim and Naylor score on a solid single to left off the bat of Taryn Kern. Will be a 2 RBI single. No error given to Nakahara. And here is Emily Jones. Bounce. That is a foul ball.
Whoa, was that close.
And that would have emptied the bases. Potentially. I think that was a fair ball when it hit the chalk before bouncing. So
Sure
it was
did.
just a matter of whether it went over the base or not. I don't think that was foul before it got to the base.
That's when they could have, with replay, maybe looked at for 5 minutes. Here you make the call, and that's that.
That's also our job, Bob.
That's
what we do.
Right. That's right.
And the Jerks. And a walk to Jones. And now Ava Gall could break this thing open.
Hits the line. Hits the
Yeah,
line
that
again.
definitely hit the chalk.
It might have hit the chalk on once it was in right field.
Then
as
it
well.
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It's just whether or not it went over the base or not.
That's right.
But Jones reaches anyway, and now Ava Gall is trying to make this really hurt. There's a strike on the outside corner. Now Grimes is just pitching to keep the Aggies in the game.
First real big trouble the Aggies have faced, other than that first inning.
Home run
with all the
leader
walks.
for the Cardinal digs in. 8 home runs on the year. And Deathlifton stops it. Bounce to first, but foul. Grimes has walked her first 2 batters of the game here in the 4th inning.
We were told that she rises to the occasion in clutch moments. This would be one of those.
Gall, you're talking about.
Yeah, Gall. There's certainly a chance to break the game wide open.
Breaking ball doesn't get the call.
My goodness.
Zach Snell not budging. Pulled, foul. All right, here's the 1-2 pitch. Their center field camera is not dead on straight away, so we can't tell exactly. I think that was outside, though.
Looks like it ended up outside, yeah.
Off speed is rip foul. Will that make you skip a heartbeat or two?
Well, anything in play is likely to score a run. Anything to the outfield might score 2. And if she really gets a hold of one like she can, curtains.
Worked it full. I mean, this is what Stanford just does time after time. They're relentless with their at-bats.
So many good at-bats for Stanford.
Pretty good teacher.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a fair ball. Nice pick by Panziera. She gets one out. They try to throw behind Kern. She gets back. In to score is Buckley.
Saved at least one run.
And it's 5-1.
If that got into right field, it would have scored 2, possibly 3.
Yeah, nice job by Panziera to stay with that hop.
It's not an easy play.
Kern and Jones move up a base. Not out of the woods at all. Here's Ali Kaneshiro. And she belts it. High and deep to left. It's a 3-run homer for Ali Kaneshiro, and the Cardinal have busted this thing open. It's 8-1. She is now tied for the team lead with 8 home runs. And it's a 6 spot here in the 4th. Kaneshiro was not waiting around.
And there was no question about that one. All the way probably onto LaRue. Very close to it. Now, we certainly knew Stanford was capable of this coming in.
That's a fair ball down the line. Into the right field corner. And Chan is thinking about 3. And she's got a stand-up triple. And so just like that, Aggies are in danger of being in the run rule danger zone if Stanford can get one more in. Just fair down the line. And now the Cardinal are starting to tee off.
We've seen people flirting with that line the last couple of innings. That one finally caught it right.
Barry is up for the second time here in the 4th inning. This is the 210th career game for Kaneshiro, and it's her 23rd career home run at Stanford. 3rd year as their everyday starter, and one of the best catchers in the nation. Nakahara isn't going to have a play. There's Kira Chan. She's been red hot for Stanford as well. Had the first home run of her career a week ago against Stanford, against Oregon State. As Stanford can get Chan home, then the pressure's going to be on UC Davis. Stanford trying to end this thing early. Grounded weakly to second. Felice makes the throw in time. And the inning is over. But 10 batters. Junior out of Thousand Oaks. So she will take over for the starter, Alyssa Houston. Nikki Buscemi is the pinch hitter for the Aggies. She pinch hits for Nakahara. The Aggies suddenly are in a big-time hole here in the fourth. They stayed competitive with Stanford the first 10 innings of the day, including game one of the doubleheader, but Ali Kanashiro's 3-run homer completely broke this thing open. Buscemi hits a foul ball. Well, the score stays what it is, Bob. I'm not sure we're going to see Kennedy today.
A disappointment, but there will be other times.
Only a sophomore, if you can believe it, with all her credentials already. 2-2. Chung Jr., this is only her 21st career appearance, though, in her 3 Stanford seasons. Her 13th of this year. She's got a 4.77 ERA. Probably the least used pitcher on the staff for Stanford. Buscemi has worked it full, and she takes a walk. And now Bella Bahulu will get pinch hit for. It'll be Kayla Macias. So, again, Aaron Thorpe using these midweek games to get some of her younger players into the ball game, get them some experience. Out of the regular pitchers this year for Stanford, Kennedy's the only one we haven't seen today. 1 ball and no strikes the count on Macias. And here comes Tori Nyberg. So the Stanford pitching coach is out. She's been with Jessica Allister her entire head coaching career as the pitching coach. Nyberg, another player that comes from Stanford's prolific past. He was a teammate of Jessica Allister during those College World Series years in 2004 and 2001. Actually, she wasn't on the 04 team, but she was on the 01 team.
So many lifelong friendships, connections, etc. made in sport, no matter the sport.
3-0. Macias 1 for 10 on the year. It's only her 11th game that she's appeared in. Pinch hitting for Pahulu. And Chung able to find the zone. Chung, and this is the most she's pitched in her career. She's also a player that will get at bats, but this season she has thrown 22 innings, 16 strikeouts, and 7 walks. And it's a full count on Macias, and she stays alive. Jess Callister told us coming into this doubleheader is going to be an all-hands-on-deck approach with the pitching staff, and she's going to use some of her depth, also use her top-line players, and that's what we've seen. We didn't see Kennedy, but we did see Kraus pitch all of game one. Full counts on Macias, who's continuing to spoil good pitches. It's ball four, and back-to-back walks by Chung to open up the fourth, and give credit to Macias for working that walk and not giving in. So first and second, nobody out, and here's Panziera. Panziera hit one well her first time up, but it was caught in foul ground by the left fielder Chan.
See how long they will stay with Chung if she still has these control problems.
Panziera, 210 on the season. But I don't think that is indicative of the at-bat she's taken here of late. Part of this kind of revolving door at second base for the Aggies all season long after the departure of Summer Kissling. And a lot of these players we're seeing today and we've seen during midweek games this year, that's the future.
That's exactly right.
That's who's going to inherit a lot of these roles next year when so many players leave the team. And that hitter, or actually it was a foul ball, came up and hit the bat.
Chung was looking like, oh no.
And no argument from Panziera. Another check swing foul. Detlefson, Nakahara, Pahulu, McMahon, Starks. All of these players that have been mainstays for the Aggies. And of course, pitching side, Kennedy Brown, Reineman. This is all the final games of their careers. Rolled foul.
It's going to be an emotional senior day.
And a long one.
And a long one.
Aggies fighting here in the fourth. And he cannot hold up, but a good off-speed pitch by Chung, and there's the first out. Well, Bob, you talked with Erin Thorpe about the value of the conference tournament. She brought it up, like when I asked about, how tough is it here with the team out of it for the conference championship and without a chance to make it to the NCAA tournament. And she responded, yeah, it's really hard for these players.
Yep, sure is.
Because they don't have that light at the end of the rainbow. And that will be an automatic ball. I'm not sure what happened to Chung when she started her motion and then she just stopped. She just didn't have a grip on the ball. I'm not sure. So an illegal pitch, and now it's 2-0.
And the Aggies would be, at 6-9 with 12 games to go, they would be fighting for one of those top 6 spots.
Here's what happened to Chung. Just something didn't feel right. Poli takes a strike. And for most other leagues, in fact, all other leagues, you have teams battling in the middle of the conference, just trying to make it into the tournament, and then you have a shot.
Everybody does it in basketball. The Pac-12 baseball just started it in the last few years.
And they were the last ones, other than the Big West, to join that group, and the Big West will have the tournament next year. But that makes it hard for teams. As soon as they rack up some losses in conference play, they know their season has an endpoint. 3-2.
And you don't get rewarded for being better down the stretch. I remember a few years ago, Fresno State was 5th in the WAC, won the conference tournament to get in and then won the whole thing.
Struck her out, just finds the inside corner, and 2 straight Ks, and the batter is Olivia McFarland. So she has gone the distance with these last couple hitters. So that's just, as McFarland grounds it towards the hole, stop, Naylor throws it away. Here comes Buscemi, and no play. Both runners advance, it's 8-2. Naylor made a terrific stop.
Really didn't have a play at third, it didn't look like. Probably didn't have a play anywhere.
You know, with her credentials, though, she thinks she can make any play in the field.
See where the runner is here. Okay. Well, she just having the ball yet. Well, yeah.
Well, look out, Buscemi. She got hit in the face by Barry.
Yeah, by the time she got the ball out of her glove, there was no play. When she initially stopped it, it looked like there was a play.
So it'd be a single for the Aggies and an error. Here's Bree Weeks pinch hitting for McMahon. So McFarland with the base hit. Aggies pull one back. Second hit of the year for McFarland. And here's Bree Weeks as the Aggies continue to play their young players. And especially for seniors, right, Bob? And the Aggies have all these seniors. It's already been disappointing with how they performed the front half of conference play. And they don't even have next year to look forward to. But as Aaron Thorpe talked to us a lot about, like, this is it. I mean, this is as competitive an environment as you're going to have for players like Anna Detlefsen. Make them count.
You know, given that slow start, what a treat to have a couple of shots at Stanford.
And again, you said it earlier, this was a date the Aggies had circled on their calendar. It's always interesting, the dichotomy. On one side, Stanford, I mean, they play weekend after weekend series against some of the top teams in the nation. And so this barely makes an imprint on their schedule. But meanwhile, for UC Davis, this is as good as it gets. Weeks with a slow roller to the third. Barry fields and throws her out. And the inning is over. Aggies get one back. It's an 8-2. River Mailer leads off for Stanford here in the 5th inning. Get a look at Stanford's upcoming schedule. Big showdown coming up this weekend at home against UCLA. Still have a couple non-conference games left. See there, they're going to play St. Mary's in a week, and then at Seattle U, just going to stay in Seattle after playing Washington. River Mailer delivers, and there is ball one. Tatum Wentworth has come in. She's at catcher. We'll get the rest of the defensive changes for the Aggies in a bit. I think Detlefsen is still in the game. Yes, she is. She's in right field. Grimes is still the pitcher.
That run in the bottom of the 4th may be critical to keep the Aggies from getting run ruled. Stanford would have only needed one run in this inning and then hold the Aggies in the 5th.
Jam shot and caught by the new third baseman, McFarland. Beg your pardon, Macias. And there's one out. These midweek games, they always keep you on your toes if you're an official scorer.
They do.
Or an SID. Popped up again. This is Bree Weeks, and she puts it away. As you can tell, Weeks is at shortstop. Macias is at third. McFarland is in center. And Buscemi is in left. And again, Wentworth is behind the plate. Again, you got all that, Bob?
I think I do.
Okay, good.
There's still just 9 playing.
I believe so. Grounded left side, stabbed nicely by
Nice
Macias.
play.
And that'll end the inning. Great inning by Caroline. More lopsided here in game 2 with the 6-run fourth by the Cardinal. Kylie Chung in her second inning delivers to Anna Detlefson, who hit a home runner last time. Again, Chung falls behind.
I think you could transfer to Berkeley just with one thing on your resume saying I hit a home run against Stanford.
There's another bullet. Nice snare. Mailer at short, throws in the dirt. And this gets away, and Detlefson's taking off for second. And she is there. It'll be an error charged to Mailer. I mean, look, Detlefson puts as much heat on a play as anybody. But if she makes an accurate throw, that's an out. Look at this pick. It was hit well. But then the throw went in the dirt.
Well, she knew who she was dealing with, too. She knew she had to get that throw off quickly. But she still had time to do it.
And Gall couldn't pick it. Remember, Gall, although I think you can't say she's an inexperienced first baseman anymore after how much she's played there this season, but came into this year without much playing time over there. Here's Felice. So you think, Bob, you pretty much do anything positive against Stanford.
Yeah.
Athletically and...
Cal's going to give you a call.
Yeah. One to Felice.
They've been such long-time rivals in the ACC, you know.
Yeah, between those two and SMU.
And SMU, yeah, that's
heated as it gets.
Oh, man.
That catches the outside corner, 1-2.
Well, in football, they're guaranteed to play a home game against each of the ACC members once every 7 years. So you'll really have some great rivalries going, you know, every 7 years, every 14 years you're at home. Oh, man. I haven't really heard anybody strongly defend it.
Defend the move?
The whole move, yeah.
Well, it's tough to make much of a case. Felice strikes out.
You know, John Wilder, who writes the Pac-12 hotline in the Mercury News out of San Jose, he said, you know, oh my goodness, he said, having a soccer game between Arizona and Central Florida on a Tuesday makes no sense. And he says all the university presidents who voted for that know it.
Here's Maddie Grissom. You know, Jess Gallister said she hasn't really thought about it throughout the course of the season. Yeah. She said the only time she's thought about it is when some clowns like you and me ask her about
it right.
During conference calls.
Yeah.
But, I mean, she admitted it's pretty sad.
Yeah.
I mean, she's been a part of this conference for a long time, getting back to her time as a player.
And some great rivalries.
And obviously, I mean, these are the sports, pretty much every sport outside of football, where it really hurts.
Yeah, and they, you know, you're not taking any of your Pac-12 compatriots with you. It's just Cal and Stanford going to the ACC.
Rise ball is too high, and Detlefson takes third. It's a wild pitch. Reached for and grounded to short. It's juggled again by Mailer, and her throw is just in time. Mailer having a little trouble picking the ball up at shortstop. But Grissom is out by a step. Jake Lively thought she was safe. We'll see if we get a good angle. Detlefson does score. She didn't get out of the box great. Yep, she is out.
She's out.
It is 8-3. And here is Buscemi. Well, who knows, Bob? Maybe for schools like UC Davis and Sac State and some of these local mid-majors, the likes of Cal and Stanford, they're going to be a little more anxious.
Yep, they are.
To play non-conference games against teams that are local.
No question. And, you've got in baseball, you have Oregon State, which is a national power, deciding to go independent, not join the WCC, but go independent. They're going to be looking for games with Sac State and UC Davis.
That hit Buscemi in the box.
Baseball and softball are really the only sports where even late in the schedule you can get non-conference games. We saw the Aggie men baseball at Abilene Christian last weekend, halfway through the schedule for a 3-game series. Can't do that in basketball. Once they start playing the league games, you're not going to get any games.
2-2. So potentially, maybe a few UC Davis for some former Pac-12 schools.
Yep, I think so.
In the coming years. Struck her out, and Chung retires aside. Aggies do get one more. No surprise, it's Anna Detlefson right in the middle of it. It's 8-3 Stanford going for pitcher that has not appeared in a game yet today. Best ERA in the country, just .46.
I'm just happy that we got her on camera.
She has been a sensation in 1.5 seasons on the farm.
Well, during a time when we're not broadcasting, I'm going to make sure I find a Stanford game that I can watch where she's likely to pitch. Certainly one of the conference games she will.
I think if this game was closer, she
might see her, yeah.
She would come in for an inning or two. Taylor Kern gets hit by the pitch with 2 strikes. And that is the 16th time Kern has been hit by a pitch this year. Clearly. Kennedy has allowed 8 earned runs all season, which is the fewest among qualified pitchers in the country. And that strikeout number that we had up there, 195, that also is best in the nation. Already is one of the best softball players that many have ever seen. There's a strike to Jones, and it's 1-1. Emily Jones has singled and walked today. Sophomore, she is really having a breakout season. Comes in batting .387. And here she hits a little flare, and Felice can't reach it. And everybody's safe. They just continue to put the ball in play today. I mean, Grimes isn't a strikeout pitcher anyway. And she knows she'll have to live with a few of these. Felice just not able to make the over-the-shoulder catch. Here's Ava Gall. We saw Brown go 2/3 of an inning in game 1. Have not seen her since.
No.
I'm not sure if Ashley Sawai is available today. And Brown walked off a little gingerly. We saw that at the end of the first inning. We haven't heard of any potential injury to Brown.
Before the inning was even over.
Yeah. Could be 2, but Felice couldn't glove it cleanly. And everybody's safe. So that's the second error of the day against UC Davis. A rare one that Felice could not handle, a rare hop. She couldn't make the play on it. Now here's Kaneshiro, who's trying to get everybody home. Threatening to run roll the Aggies now. And Kaneshiro takes ball one. We were looking forward to seeing Brown pitch against Stanford.
Very much so. She just had tremendous control problems in that first inning of the first game.
Did not look like herself when she was taken out of the game. But again, we don't know, as this is crushed into deep left center. That is a grand slam. Make it a 2-homer day for Ali Kaneshiro. And an 8 RBI afternoon. What a day for the senior Kaneshiro. 12-3 Cardinal. And she just demolished that. And there's the celebration by Taryn Kern. So a grand slam by...
I'm glad you clarified that.
I said she was the team leader in home runs earlier. That was just a premonition by me, as it turns out.
Nostradamus among us.
Well, in these two games, they look every bit a team that's got their sights set on hoisting some hardware at the end of the year, and they didn't even use maybe the best player in the nation.
0.46 ERA. Just mind-boggling stuff. About a strikeout and a half per inning.
Two and two to Chan. And that's poked into left center field. And McFarland puts it away. Yeah, the numbers are just otherworldly. We're going to get a pinch hitter for Stanford. Kennedy last year was also the nation's leader in ERA. She won Freshman of the Year in multiple publications. Former standout at Kansas. And as Allie Clements is going to be the pinch hitter. Stanford, when we talked to Aaron Thorpe about Kennedy, she compared her dominance to Shaquille O'Neal in his heyday in the post.
That's just amazing.
Barry will be pinch hit for. Clements is the batter.
I didn't realize Shaq played softball. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's a lesser known part of his resume. I'm sure, now that I think about it, he probably has played in a few celebrity softball games.
I'll bet he has, yeah.
Two 2-0 the count on Allie Clements. Another highly recruited player coming out of high school from Klein, Texas, the junior. And there's a breaking ball for a strike. So UC Davis will need to score at least 2 runs in the bottom of the inning in order to push this game into the 7th. 8 of the 12 runs driven in by the Stanford catcher, Kaneshiro. Pulled into left center field and caught by the backpedaling Bree Weeks.
Pitching for the Cardinal, number 3, Caitlin Coe.
Here's Kaylin Koch. Show pinch hit for River Mailer. Bob, I know you're going to be locked in this weekend when Stanford and UCLA lock heads. It is
Of course,
matchup of the season in the Pac-12.
Yeah. Then picnic day coming up. Aggie men will be playing Santa Barbara on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Team that might win the the Big West this year, though UC Irvine right now is
trying to run away and hide.
Yes, they are.
2:30 game on Friday, a 2 o'clock game on picnic day, and then a 1 o'clock game on Sunday.
1 and 2 to Kaylin Koch. Nigel Kennedy is going to be well rested for that series against UCLA. Bounce left side, diving stop, Weeks, and her throw is not nearly in time.
Automatic
field single.
Automatic second base on the throw.
Yeah, the throw went into the dugout. So an error. Charge to Weeks. And we'll get a pinch runner. Mailer re-enters. And we'll come in for Koch. And now we'll get another pinch hitter. It's Jonna Schrader standing in. Schrader's got a connection to this area. She's from Stockton.
Yeah.
Went to school at Lodi, but her mom is the head softball coach at Cosumnes River College.
Oh, wow.
And oh, by the way, she was also a two-time national champion at UCLA, and she was an assistant on the Stanford staff, but now is over at CRC.
Back when CRC was brand new, I actually taught a few classes over there. Great campus.
And the baseball head coach, Bob?
Yes.
At CRC?
Yes, indeed.
Is the dad of J.D. Miko,
yes.
who is the
and we
sports
see him,
information director
we see
at
him
UC Davis.
We see him frequently.
Yeah, he's always around,
games.
isn't
he? Oh, yeah.
Can't get away from him. Bounced back to the circle. Grimes has it, and the throw to first is in time, and the inning is over. But Ali Kanashiro. Kayla Macias leads off for UC Davis. They need 2 runs to keep this game alive for the 7th. Kylie Chung back to work. She's allowed a run in each of her 2 innings. Dozen for the Cardinal. Same number of runs they have on the board. 2-0 to Macias. With Panziera and then Wentworth due up next. Although Panziera is not on deck. Bella Holtz has come out. It looks like she's going to pinch hit. I think Kanashiro got a little nicked up on that wild pitch. She's all right. And the Aggies have been using the full roster today. Stanford, for the most part, has kept most of the regulars.
That's why they got that 12 up there.
Bounced to third. And Barry throws her out. And here comes Bella Holtz to pinch hit. So the Aggies season will continue this week. Again, this is the last non-conference series of the season for the Aggies. They'll play at UC San Diego. Again, the the alma mater of Aaron Thorpe, you're about to see come into your picture on the left of your screen. Holtz stands in, and I think she just needs to tell Zach Snell about Bella Holtz coming in, and Zach Snell letting everybody know.
Including us.
Yeah, all over it, Zach. Aggies finish up with UCSD, UC Santa Barbara, Cal Poly, and then they have Senior Day weekend, Friday, Saturday against Hawaii, second week of May. Grounded foul. Meanwhile, for the Cardinal, this train continues to just roll through every station. And they'll host UCLA this weekend. Again, trying to win just their second Pac-12 championship ever. In the final season of the conference. Holt strikes out, and now the Aggies are down to their last out. It'll be Tatum Wentworth, who was the last out of game one. And she's trying to keep this thing going.
Chung has settled down nicely.
Well, she's had the strikeout pitch working. She's got 5 strikeouts in 3 innings. Yeah, this will be the first time the Aggies have been run-ruled against this year.
Hasn't happened yet.
I said would.
Would.
I did say would.
You said would. You put that indefinite, whatever they call that. Subjunctive, indefinite.
I thought you were the writer. Didn't you? You just said you taught journalism.
I did.
At CRC.
I did not teach diagramming sentences.
Is there a difference between journalism and English classes, I guess?
There
Bob?
is.
Yeah.
There's a big difference, yeah. I remember a lot of the students at the student paper, I remember the somebody came in and complained that the lacrosse game hadn't been reported in the student paper. And I said, well, he said the student that was supposed to cover lacrosse got an F. They said, if you want me as the advisor to the paper to go out and cover the lacrosse game, I mean, what's the goal here?
That's pretty rough, Bob. You gave somebody an F?
He was assigned to cover it and decided to sleep in.
Well, I guess, you make your bed, you got to lay in it.
Yeah. And
that time he actually slept in it.
He did.
Too long.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what can I give him? He got a 0.
Yeah. Yeah.
F plus.
This is in play. Barry. Ball game. So Stanford makes the trip to UC Davis up north. They take 2 from obviously great experience for the Aggies. Aaron Thorpe got a lot of her young players into these 2 games, so they have a chance to play a team the caliber of Stanford. We never saw number 24 in red take the circle. Nigeri Kennedy, she'll be well rested for the big series Stanford has coming up against UCLA. But on the Aggie side, Bob, they stayed competitive in these 2 games for the majority, but then really almost single-handedly, Ali Kaneshiro kind of ended any competitiveness in this second game with a grand slam and a 3-run homer in the 4th and 6th innings.
4-2 in the first game. They were 1 swing away from actually taking a 5-4 win.
Yeah, they got the winning run to the plate in game 1 of the Twin Bill, and they got the tying run on after trailing 4-0 in the inning, but were not able to get the big hit to really put a scare into the Cardinal. Anna Deathlifson, in one of the bright spots in game 2, she hit the home run, but just too much. Ali Kaneshiro, she finishes with 8 RBIs, a 3-run homer, and a grand slam. And the Cardinal, as advertised in these 2 games, again, without even seeing Nigeri Kennedy in the circle.
Will be fun to follow the Cardinal and see how